Hello. There is no doubt that women are more likely to get custody in the event of a divorce. Similarly, there is no doubt that many or most of these cases are uncontested, with the father acquiescing in this development. The question is whether this is due to their own free choice or because they are unable to contest the case or believe that contesting the case will inevitably be unavailing. In some cases there can be no expectation of winning custody because the mother has been the primary caregiver. The primary caregiver will normally win if the primary caregiver is a woman. This is a modern version of the tender years doctrine, which was specifically designed to allow women to have custody. In reality, both parents will normally look after their children, who spend work hours at school. If the mother does only slightly more, such as having taken advantage of the more generous maternity leave or having taken it upon themselves to take children to medical appointments, that will be enough to win custody. There is also no consideration that a man may wish to order his priorities after a divorce, for example working less as he no longer cares to support a wife and preferring to spend more time with his children. The argument I am making there is for default joint custody, but that is irrelevant to the subject of this video. The question is whether men, as feminists claim, will be treated fairly and have an equal chance of victory when contesting custody. I have had numerous conversations on this subject, and I have repeatedly been referred to the AmpTunes link, which I will link below. I find this link very annoying. The study universally cited by feminists is unavailable. I found a reference to another study on a feminist website called Villainous Company, but it was only referred to as having taken place in a low appeals court. The only details available on the Massachusetts study, which is the one normally used, is at the other link below. To be honest, the AmpTunes link is so full of U-turns, mea culpas and errors that I can't even tell you the exact claims being made, only that it refers to the mass study and claims that the study shows men to be more likely to get custody when contesting it. The claim normally made, which comes from the summary of the study, says that men who seek primary custody get it in 70% of cases. This is incorrect. Rather, men who seek primary custody get some form of custody in just under 70% of cases. That could mean just joint legal custody with no component of physical custody. Only just over half of those cases awarded in the father being granted primary custody. So does this mean men are treated fairly? The way to tell this is not to look at whether men are more likely to get custody when contesting it than when not, but to compare like with like. To compare, in other words, occasions when men seek custody and those where women seek custody. As you can see yourself, the number of women seeking primary custody who get it is a higher percentage than the percentage of men who get both primary and joint custody combined, 73% compared to 69%. By comparison, men were granted sole custody when sought in only 44% of cases, while women were granted at least joint custody when seeking primary custody in no less than 95% of cases. So if a woman seeks sole custody, the father is likely to end up without custody. If she doesn't and he does, then he may well get custody, because of course there are cases where women do not seek custody for various reasons, and these no doubt make up a disproportionate number of those cases in which the father seeks custody. So the argument is either wrong, or at least unsupported by evidence. Men cannot be shown to be treated fairly by the courts, even by the standards of the primary care model. Men who seek custody cannot expect to be granted custody, especially if the mother contests custody with them.